It is the question every driver asks when fuel prices jump overnight: are we being taken for a ride? On Friday the 14th of August, 2026, Portugal's energy regulator Erse delivered an answer that many will find hard to swallow. After examining the first 7 months of 2026, it concluded there is no evidence of profiteering by fuel operators. Domestic pump prices, the study says, broadly followed international costs. So if the industry is not profiteering, why does it still feel like prices shoot up like a rocket and fall like a feather? That is the puzzle we are unpacking today. The timing matters. This verdict landed just as drivers were digesting a sharp drop at the pumps last week and bracing for a possible rise in the week ahead. Today, Saturday the 15th of August, the gap between regulator logic and driver frustration has rarely been wider. Let us start with the facts. Erse, the Energy Services Regulatory Authority, looked at domestic fuel prices across the first 7 months of 2026. Its central finding was that movements at Portuguese pumps broadly mirrored what was happening in international fuel markets. In plain terms, when crude oil and refined fuel costs rose globally, prices in Portugal rose. When those costs fell, pump prices eventually followed. The study, published on Friday the 14th of August, explicitly states there was no evidence of irregularities or profiteering by operators. That word matters. Profiteering does not mean making a profit. It means exploiting a crisis or imbalance to make an excessive or unfair profit. The regulator is saying the data does not support that accusation. It is an important distinction, because profitability and profiteering are easily confused in public debate. The study did not appear in a vacuum. 6 days ago, reports highlighted that Portugal was heading into the week of Monday the 10th of August with a sharp drop in fuel prices. That brought some relief after a period of pressure. Now, as we sit on Saturday the 15th of August, the picture is shifting again. Some reports on Friday suggested prices are expected to edge up in the week starting Monday the 17th of August. This pattern is exactly why drivers are suspicious. A price cut arrives, but it feels short-lived. A price rise arrives, and it feels immediate. Yet the regulator's data suggests both movements are tied to the same underlying wholesale cost changes. The lag is real, but the direction is not being manipulated. Here is the core tension. The regulator says no profiteering, but the lived experience at the pump tells a different emotional story. Psychologists call it loss aversion. We feel the pain of a price rise far more intensely than the pleasure of an equivalent fall. That is not a criticism. It is human nature. Add to that the fact that fuel is one of the most visible prices in daily life. You see it on big boards outside stations every day. When the number goes up, it feels personal. When it falls slowly, it feels unfair. The Erse study does not deny that prices rise quickly and fall more slowly. What it challenges is the cause. The data indicates this asymmetry comes from the structure of supply chains, not from operators conspiring to keep prices high. So if it is not profiteering, what is actually happening? There are 3 main mechanisms. First, inventory lag. A petrol station buys fuel at a certain wholesale price, but it may take days or weeks to sell that batch. If wholesale prices drop, the station is still selling fuel it bought at the higher cost. It cannot cut prices immediately without making a loss. Second, refining and distribution costs do not fall as fast as crude oil. Crude is only one part of the final price. Taxes, transport, and refinery margins move at different speeds. Third, competition works slowly. A station may hold prices higher until a nearby rival forces it down. This is not collusion. It is cautious business behavior. The Erse study effectively says these lags explain most of the rocket and feather effect in the first 7 months of 2026. On the ground, what does this mean for Saturday the 15th of August, 2026? If you are filling up today, you are likely still benefiting from the tail end of last week's sharp drop, but you should not expect it to last. The reported upward pressure for next week means the window of cheaper fuel may be closing quickly. That is not a reason to panic buy. It is a reason to understand the pattern. The regulator's message is that prices are not being artificially propped up by profiteering, but they are still exposed to global market swings. For households and delivery businesses, that means budgeting for volatility rather than expecting a downward spiral. The wider implication is also important. When official studies exonerate operators, it may reduce the political pressure for price caps or windfall taxes, for better or worse. Looking ahead, the immediate outlook is mixed. The expected rise in the week starting Monday the 17th of August suggests international fuel costs have firmed up. Without a clear geopolitical shock or a sharp change in crude supply, the most probable path is continued volatility around current levels. The Erse study gives us a useful reference point. Domestic prices broadly followed international costs in the first 7 months of 2026. If that relationship holds, the next big move at the pump will be decided not in Lisbon but in global oil markets. For drivers, the practical insight is to watch wholesale price movements if you want a hint of where the pump is heading next. For policymakers, the study may close the profiteering debate for now, but it will not close the cost of living conversation. So here is the bottom line. Portugal's regulator has looked at the data and concluded there is no evidence of profiteering by fuel operators in the first 7 months of 2026. Domestic prices broadly followed international costs. That does not erase the frustration of watching prices rise quickly and fall slowly. But it does shift the explanation from conspiracy to mechanics, inventory lags, supply chains, and the natural caution of competition. As we sit on Saturday the 15th of August, with a possible price rise around the corner, the smartest move is to stay informed, fill up when you see a genuine dip, and remember that the pump price is a reflection of global forces more than local greed. The next time someone tells you the industry is profiteering, you can now explain what the evidence actually says.